Perfect. Okay. Live and alive. I didn't test anything, but I think everything should be fine. I need to take away. I need to put this up here. Hello, everybody. Not gonna be super active. I'm just I just want to try out some new features over here. That's actually one of the things I'm facing is difficulties when it comes to well, managing everything. There's a lot to manage. When you're working remotely, it's not that easy to make sure that everybody's sticking to their deliverables and just turning off voice access there. No, sticking to the deliverables and making sure that the whole operation is running as smoothly as possible. So with that, what I decided to do was, before we advance to the more complex bounty systems or anything like that, I'm going to use motion for at least the core helm of our team, so that we can prioritize tasks using the 80-20 rule, meaning 20% of the things that you focus on are actually unlocking 80% of the benefits. That's also something that's part of system thinking design, where it's called leveraged decision making. And so motion is going to be a temporary solution in the sense that it will allow me to see exactly who's working or who worked on what. And so, if you have full-time salaried employees in your company, you want to make sure that they're working at least, and of course, like startups usually work more than the normal 9 to 5 or 8 hours a day, but you want to make sure that at least the people are working that amount, right? So by using motion, you can actually see the tasks and the days, and as in a calendar view, see what was being done with a good description and if there's any blockers. But the most important part is you can also see big gaps where people are not working or not doing anything, which is something that I have personally had troubles in grappling with since making an AI agency that's focused on B2B clients, which have obviously their expectations, and you have to have a great deal of trust and reliability. Now, I am very lucky with the team that I have, but nonetheless, the teams change, people change, and we evolve. And until we get that bounty system running, which is something that I've gone through in other streams, that's going to involve our B2B AI agency beyond just producing products for enterprises, but also going to, let's say, reorientate its focus to what I think is more important, which is education and repurposing and upskilling, so people are ready for high demand tech skill jobs. But for now, motion will do. And what I'm going to do here is not only set up motion, and that might be an interesting thing for everybody that there's this whole ADHD kind of like spin on motion, which I gotta say I'm not a big fan of when companies use clinically diagnosed mental disorders as like selling points, but one also has to be serious with themselves. And yeah, sure, like ADHD is totally, kind of a lot of it is bullshit. Sorry, I meant like literally the the excrement of a male cow. Okay, so don't like take my videos down, please. That'd be nice. That'd be cool. And so what am I gonna do? The problem is, like, I actually do have ADHD, but I'm at the kind of like low end of the spectrum where I can still focus. In fact, like, my diagnosis is a mixture between OCD and ADHD. So it becomes quite funny because I start focusing on the wrong things, but sometimes I dive deep into them, and when I dive deep into them, I can say like a whole. My team knows this. I guess whole 72 hours just learning it and getting really well versed in that specific topic. It is it is under the DSM-I, which is the textbooks which doctors use to diagnose, and psychiatrists as well, and psychologists, etc., as the mental arrested state. But to be honest with you, I do not totally agree. I think again, everybody is on a spectrum when it comes to those things, and it's all about to do with the pros and cons and the well-being and how you feel you're being able to manage your life and whether or not you're happy. Because if you are, then there's no need to be medicated or take any pills or have any sort of like cognitive behavioral therapy or be treated by a psychiatrist, which will run you through a carousel of drugs until they find 5 or 6 which they can chill on you. See, I'm running on about healthcare. That's my point. So what I really wanted to do is get into motion, literally, and also as the software you see over here. And I mean, a shout out to the team. Huang Kui, I believe, is the founder, graduate of Y Combinator, and their continuous support. This, and I think Superhuman. I'm not affiliated with any of these, of course. I mean, I got like 7 viewers. I'm not affiliated with anyone. But it's a start. I want to give them a shout out because I think it is actually a smart tool, especially because what happened is that we used to have a product manager, which was great, but things, without wanting to get into too many details, we lost him. He's no longer with us, and so to find a replacement for somebody who had that kind of enthusiasm, organizational skills, and ability to bridge the gap between the social requirements that one must have to be able to carefully manage a team and their timelines with the technological requirements. And that's a hard skill set, and it's hard to find. So I've taken it upon myself that until we find the perfect person that can take that role, we'll be relying on technology, and we'll be relying on two technologies specifically. So Gemini 2.0 just came out, as most people know. And in Gemini 2.0, you got that screen sharing mode. So what I want to do is, as you know, and I've made abundantly clear, I come from a background of being a AI business strategist. So coding, or let's say software development, for me is not particularly something that I'm extremely comfortable with. But that is why this is a fun endeavor, what we're doing, this stream, in not only expanding and building forward our B2B AI agency, but also doubling down on it and making it basically the AI arena where we can cross-converge all of the interesting technologies and bring people together who want to upskill and upgrade their portfolios, resumes, experience, so that they can be future ready and future proof, and we can program them a future where they are safe and secure. And that is really what I'm interested in. It's something I've done in the past for when we had the crisis in 2008. And it's something that I will do again now, because when push comes to shove and AI automation starts, it's already started but continues to displace a lot of let's say less cost effective workflows. There will be a lot of people that will have needs to learn how to use AI and to become and develop new skills so that they're attractive to the modern workforce. And that can be young people, that can be old Bob that works at the manufacturing plant, and he wears onesies, jeans, uniform, whatever, hands full of oil, and has added an iPad and said like, okay, here you go. There's like a instruction guide on the documentation, so you can learn how to deploy the agent to do X, Y, Z. You'll probably need at least some upskilling, but also students that are coming out of universities and colleges and high schools and thinking that the workplace that is waiting is completely, it's going to be a completely different reality, where what they have been learning and the way that they've been learning will be a stark difference, and the skill sets that they will need will not be offered by the normal educational institutions that we've always relied on when there are these kind of paradigm shifts to reorientate people into focusing and jumping into the right mindsets and the right frameworks and the right skill sets. But in this time around, we're facing a paradigm shift in which the educational institutions themselves are probably some of the most affected ones, and hence my my I would call it more than a belief, because it's something that I hold with a very high degree of certainty. It is creators that are going to be sources for the new generation of autodidactic polymaths that want to learn and that want to basically be up to date. They will go to them, and that's why we are creating, or we're evolving from just being a B2B agency that creates products for enterprises to something much bigger. And it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take a lot of work, and it's gonna take a lot of organization. I wrote a quick description the other day, but I think I didn't save it. Sorry. So let's see. What we're doing is using motion as a management tool. Which is not something you see every day. Team management, and we are building up product manager. And that guy is supposed to help me in I want him to scream and yell and shout even if he sees that I'm not doing the right things, and if he sees that I'm deviating from tasks, or I should even have him listen to what I'm saying on the stream itself. But that's gonna be kind of interesting. How do I talk during this stream? He's gonna think I'm gonna be talking to him. And we'll see that later. Let's so look, you guys, as I said, make things simpler. I'm a cursor user. I believe many of us will start with many of us that are not, let's say, proficient in programming will have to start as code composers, and that's exactly how I start. And it'll be interesting, or it's an interesting thing, I guess, for people that will have the same journey to in the future be able to look back and see how we ourselves started like that. Well, obviously I do have people which are actual professional programmers and data engineers and AI engineers, whatever you like to call them, that are working on the products. But when it comes to the educational part, I really wanted us to start from the basics, and that's what we're doing. So let me start by, well, I like to make use of as many tools as possible when making this. So with the launch of Gemini 2.0, you have this screen sharing ability, which is totally cool. So that while I'm doing my motion stuff, And while I'm, making and handling all of the team's tasks, which will be this here, I want him to be kind of personal assistant, guideline, whatever. But to do that, I want to I want to make sure that I set it up so that it's not something that is just one short conversation and then it gives an error and everything gets lost, but that it's something or a model, an agent that I can count on, that has memory or some sort of memory. As far as I know, Gemini 2.0 should have a significantly good memory. It's very good at needle in the haystack, and it's got a very large context window, so it should be perfect to build this. And it is the only one now offering screen sharing and voice interaction. In the future, I'll actually integrate that directly into the stream. That's one thing that is going to be on our to-do list. So without further ado, let me start. Cursor. So system instructions. Okay, setting this. So let's. I keep all my file. I always do this. I think it's just the easiest way to do things. Is always just open the file separately. I don't know why. I'm gonna call it PM Gemini, and then after that, I go to cursor, and then here on cursor is where I'll actually file, open folder. Perfect. Agent mode is on. I don't know what's up with this this blue line that keeps appearing, but let's move on. A new file defined your system instructions with multi-line string. System instructions. Follow these goals and guidelines, and then here I want those details. The details that that I want are actually, I think I put them over here. You're a specialized personal assistant, fully integrated with screen sharing capabilities, striving to evolve emotional application, features together. These are your guidelines. And here we go. We got that he learns motion with me, and we work step by step. That he asks and seeks information about my business. That he continues to emphasize the 20/80 rule. That he regularly revisits things that we've done and recursively analyzes them and proactively makes suggestions instead of waiting for instructions, and that he uses systems thinking as a basis for his decision making, and that he is also authentic in the way that he interacts with me, so that it's not always like a nice voice, but like he changes his tone and he changes his style, so he can get pissed, he can get angry, and that will be much more like having a real person. Now, okay. Okay. There we go. Composer doing its thing. Just gonna accept that. Yep. Perfect. Now we're using the latest of Sonnet. That's perfect. Accept. I don't think I need this. Okay. Now, I'm going to try and use the agent to, wait, there's something. 4 out of 5. What's going on? I don't know what's going on with that blue line over there. Okay, define system instructions. Alright, here we go. Now, what I need to do is, first of all, I wanted to see this feature. I haven't tried it yet, which is the agent feature. Okay. There you go, agent. Okay. Now, I'm not exactly sure. I can use tools. Okay, awesome. So is this using agent or not? Can I control it? Create all the necessary documents. I really wonder what is this. What is this term color all about? In Python, the notation term color 2-3 is commonly used in requirements to the file to specify that the term color package should be installed exactly. Understand what term color is? This is a package that NC color format for terminal output, allowing developers to print colored text in the term. Well, sure. Since yeah, sure. Why usage and it should be used in requirements. Okay, make files. Sure, right. Let's go back over here. Let's go back over here. Where was I? Yeah. Let's go back over here. So read me, get ignore. Interesting. How to get ignore. You have the library installed by typing file pip install. Okay, I think I've realized something. It's just naturally using OpenAI. Well, let's install that library. Okay, looks good. See what happens. Even though I know I have to put the API key over here. Okay, so it does do let's go here. Now, it's a virtual environment, so I think here is where I should actually say there you go. And we're gonna control and accept. Okay. Now my API key. We'll do this. I have to change it afterwards. So don't try anything funny. Always thought you actually had to do it in the terminal. I'm surprised. Motion. So motion is an API. Do we need that? It's interesting. No, I don't think it understands that that we have sorry that you can't see what I'm writing, but I used to have this thing, sorcery. Okay. But it's not an open AI. I don't think Motion even has one, but we can have a look. I don't think so. It probably does, but it won't be used for much. Should be open already. Oh, I need to make our own Git book. Wait, what happened? It said go to settings, and then there you go, settings, API keys, API keys. Okay, copy, nice. I think it's fine when you put it on okay. Don't know why it does that thing there like that, but okay. I need to accept this, accept this, and I need to accept this. Now, do I need to install? Yeah, so it includes system instruction API requests. Yeah, I think it's just a different way of. It's just a different way of doing it, actually. One second. Oh, they got a notebook LM update too, man. That's what I tell you. Good PE ratios right now in the stock market is Google, which is undervalued, yeah, there you go. I get this all the time, right? Line module, term color, import the color, module, find term color. I get this issue a lot. And that's why I was wondering. Exactly. Bug finder. Renew. Alright. This is cool. Okay. So it's actually not analyzing it against anything else. Still. You may lose your money and get 0 valid bugs back. Oh. You know, I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with this. And let me see something. Cursor settings. Have term color printed every step from the user. Yeah, sure. Yeah. sense. So the question is, do I actually need this? No, just the first line. Let's go this previous chat thing now, which is pretty cool. Like that. Yeah, there you go. But still, we're having a problem with this term color thing. Okay. Take away that. We keep term color, even though what was giving us an error here was term color import color. Terms. Okay. Now my import OS term color import color. Okay. It's a different maybe OS kind of thing. Yeah, okay. I hope it understands that it's got to fetch. Yeah, try load.env. It's env example. Alright, it's back to Google API key, that's good. System is reloaded, this is green, yellow. Descriptions, print red, okay. Now read me. PD motion, yeah, it's specialized. Proactive for features. This is the readme, that's fine. Yeah. I think it's weird that change any, yeah, yes. Pip install requirements.txt. Okay. Okay, I don't understand what was the difference there. /r. Okay. Alright. Now I can see we're not in the environment, so I'm gonna rename this. So it's like that. And now, first of all, I'm gonna save. And try to run it. I'm still getting this problem. Ask sorcery.
row. Actually, I haven't activated. It's good. Now again, okay, dude. A lot of stuff here. It should probably. Shouldn't the main be inside? I think we're doubling. Yeah, sure. Python. Future. Yes. 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 Yeah, sure. The second one doesn't work. That's fine. No. Python main. Sure. I think there's still requirements there to be done. Okay. Just kind of disappeared. Okay. Let's go back. And let's get that key. So I didn't actually follow any of the instructions, but it's the way it goes. Also don't know how valid this is. Because it's in studio mode. Why is it asking the system instructions to be there? That's interesting. Is it the same thing as this said over here now? God damn. You're working on it. So now what? First of all, Fan base tab. Source is not recognized the name. I think I'm work class. I'm already in Vin. Activate. Windows. We're good. We're in the Vim. Or print code and activate. Checks and helps with activation. Sure. We use this PS1 thing. Okay. So this many thing. It's good, huh? Good. Python. Venv. Run. Output. Exited. What does this mean? Does this mean we're good? So. Oh. C. Philly desktop coding. G. Temp code runner from the file. Podes entrar.
Fiz de picanha,
Hum,
mas o arroz é uma merda, porque é um arroz que a Carolina trouxe do Búzio. Não é arrozinho da mamã.
tá bem.
Mas paciência, só para quebrar o galho, amanhã faço-te arrozinho do bom. E sopinha, tá? Tá?
Vamos ver. Vamos ver.
Vamos ver se eu cumpro promessas.
Não, vamos ver se...
Não, o arrozinho é uma merda mesmo, mas pronto.
Arrozarinho?
O arrozinho.
Sorry about that. What's this? Yeah. Cool. So now what? Let's try something. Let's try something. Hey there.
Hey there, let's get started with motion. How can I help you today?
First.
Okay,
Uh,
so first things first.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve with motion today?
No, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. Let's dive into motion together.
I want, before we dive into motion, I'm trying
Okay,
I'm trying to program you so that you're like a permanent, a permanent model that I can depend on.
I understand. You're looking to fine-tune me into a reliable, permanent model.
Exactly, and so this is the code on my main Pi.
Okay, I see you're showing...
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm following. You're showing me the code, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got this output. So now what?
Okay, you have the code and the output. What's the next step you're envisioning for my programming?
Well, now I want to use you with the system instructions that I've defined over here.
Okay, so now you want to use me with the system instructions you've defined. Can you show me the instructions?
They're right over here.
Okay, I see the instructions. It looks like you want to use a very specific set of instructions. How can we start applying them?
Well, what I thought is that I'd code you into a kind of like a model. Like as you see here,
So your thought is to code me.
I have a whole thing over here. This is the README,
Okay,
so you can see.
okay, I see the read-me. Let's take a look. So this is the current setup. Can you explain what you hope to achieve by using me as this model?
That every time I log on to Gemini and use screen share, that I'm talking to the same person with the same system instructions, and hopefully they will have some sort of memory about what we have talked before, but at least that they will continue in the same style.
Okay, I understand. You want me to have a consistent personality and a memory of our previous conversations. It looks like you're trying to make a reliable, personalized assistant. Let's work on that. We can use this to establish a base and then refine it as we go. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I think I got the coding right, or at least that's my impression, and this is the result in terms of the files. I got them over here.
Okay, I see the files. It sounds like you're confident in the coding. Now we need to make sure that I use these instructions consistently. Let's start by trying to apply those instructions to our conversation today. How do you want to proceed?
Well, if I just
apply them today, I would be applying them right over here to your system instructions. But
Okay, I
the
see.
problem is that then I would have to do that every time, and you just, start as kind of like a new agent or model.
Ah, I understand. You're worried that if we just apply the instructions now, it would be a temporary change, and I would revert back to my default settings next time.
Yes.
You want me to Okay, so you need a way to make sure that I stick to these instructions permanently.
Mm-hmm.
How can we go about that?
Yes. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I used cursor to try and make an API call to Gemini 2.0 with system instructions.
Okay, you're exploring using cursor to make an API call to Gemini 2.0 with system instructions.
Well, that's
Sounds like you're...
that's what you just saw here at main.py, right?
Okay, so that's what we're seeing in the main.py file. It seems like you've already started experimenting with this. So what is the next step you have in mind?
Well, how to make it work?
Okay, you're focused on making it work. What's the very first step we need to take towards making it work?
So, I guess the very first step is to make sure that, as you said, every time I log on, I don't need to input again the system instructions in it. We can kind of leave off from where we started. It's like
Okay,
you're an app.
Okay, I see, like I'm an app. You want me to remember our settings so every time we start, we can pick up where we left off. That sounds like a great goal. How can we achieve that using the code we've got?
That's a part which I'm looking for you to help. This is the code that we've got. You can see it. I'm sharing my screen, and I'm also showing you the files that we have as a result. But I don't know what to do next to ensure that we get that consistency of having you always when I need you.
Okay, you're looking for my help to figure out how to maintain consistency. You want me to act like the same app every time you use me. Let's work on that. Given the code and the files, do you have any specific ideas or areas you'd like me to focus on first?
Those are defined in the system instructions.
Okay, so you are referring to the system instructions. Can we take a look at them together to see how they can help us achieve this consistency goal?
No, because this consistency goal has nothing to do with the system instructions. They're just a way to make sure that the system instructions are always applied, even though consistency is not part of the system instructions.
Okay, I see what you mean. The system instructions define how times I should behave, but they don't inherently ensure that I do it consistently across sessions. So how do we go about ensuring that I maintain the instructions across sessions?
Well, one way to start would be that you start providing solutions rather than questions.
Okay, you want me to be more proactive and offer solutions rather than just asking questions. I can definitely do that. Let's start with this problem of maintaining system instructions across sessions. How about we explore using the file output to persist the system instructions so that I can retrieve them whenever we reconnect? Would that be a good starting point for a solution?
Okay, run me through it.
Okay, so the idea is this. We will modify the code to read the system instructions from the output file that we have. Instead of passing them every time, the code will load them from a file. This way, when we restart, I'll load the instructions from the persistent file instead of forgetting them. So first, do we have a file with the current system instructions in place?
These are the files that we have.
Okay, I see the files. Do
yeah.
any of these contain the system instructions in a format we can use? For instance, is there a JSON file?
There's, as you can see, these files are a reflection of what's written over here. So like on main.py, you have your system instructions.
Okay, so the file... Okay, I understand. The system instructions are defined in the _main.py file, and the other files reflect the output of that code, so they don't contain the instructions themselves. So, to maintain consistency across sessions, we need to modify the code in _main.py to write the system instructions to a separate file and read them from it. Do you agree that would be a logical first step?
Yes.
Okay, so we agree that _main py should be modified to handle the saving and loading of the system instructions. Now, do you have any preferences on the file format for storing the system instructions? Should it be JSON, text, or some other format?
I like text. I've read that it should be perhaps combined in over here where you do where I have the environment built that sets the API call.
Okay, so you're thinking of using a text file, and you prefer to store the instructions in the same location where you handle the API calls, which is in the environment setting.
It's just something I saw that could be a solution. I'm not sure if that's the best way to go around it. Are you still there? Hey. You there?
Yes, I'm here. What's on your mind?
Do you remember our previous session and its conversation?
I don't have memory of past conversations. Each interaction with me is brand new. How can I help you now?
Well, I created a system instructions for you, and it's actually already written in here, as you can see in your own Gemini 2.0 model /X, which is the one we're using now. So that's you, and I've put in the system instructions. But instead of just only doing that, I want you to understand this. I'm scared that every time that I come, I have to put them again. So I tried to create an app that instead just uses an API call with these system instructions, and like that I don't have to every time put them in and launch you and act like you're somebody new, but maybe even have like a memory system so that you keep improving and building and becoming smarter as we grow.
Okay, I see you've added system instructions for me within the Gemini 2.0 model. That's great. I understand that instead of creating a separate app, you want me to use an API call with the given system instructions. This will allow me to avoid having to re-enter those instructions each time and hopefully improve over time as we interact. Is that correct?
Well, maybe the API app could be a better solution, because one of the things I want is you to have memory and improve over time.
Okay, so you're thinking an API app might be better because it would allow me to have memory and improve over time. I understand.
Now, I need you to stop asking questions or making statements and following up with proactive solutions on how to get this done.
Understood. From now on, I will focus on providing proactive solutions on how to get things done, instead of asking questions or making statements. I will focus on action.
So, how do we get this done?
Okay, let's focus on getting this done. First, we need to address the fact that you have system instructions for me already written in your Gemini 2.0 model. To begin implementing these instructions, I'm going to need to understand the API call you'd like me to use with those instructions. Can you provide that?
I can provide that. And actually, that's what I wrote down in the code that you can see on the other window over here. If I go, for example, here, you can see that there's an API
I see
call.
Okay, I see the code. It looks like you have the API call information within the configure_AP section of the code. I'll use that information to make calls with the system instructions.
Can you repeat that?
Yes, I can. I see the code, and it looks like you have the API call information within the configure_AP section of the code. I will use that information to make calls with the system instructions. Is there anything else I can do to help?
Yeah. So how do I now make it so that it's an app that I can open and it has memory, so that every time when I have a new session, you don't just put this system instruction, but you remember the sessions that we had before, and as such, you become a much more handy personal assistant. Please answer with solutions and not more questions. Hi there.
Hello, I'm here to help you make the most out of Motion. Let's explore its features together. Have you already started using the application?
Before I do that, I have something that's unrelated that I need you to help me fix so that you can become better at becoming my personal assistant in motion and project management. Is that okay?
Yes, I understand. You have something unrelated you need help with before we proceed with Motion. I'm ready when you are. What do you need help with?
So, as you can see on my screen on the left, I have you. That's Gemini 2.0, stream real time on Google AI Studios, and you can see the system instructions I have given you. And these are system instructions that I want to be always saved so that I can come back to you. And I want you to have a memory so that as we evolve and as we work together, you start becoming more efficient, and you also start to learn more about our business and my business. And for that, what I thought is I must create an app. So on the right side over here, you can see that using cursor, I created an environment which makes an API call to Google, which gets the 2.0 version, and I have a main.py which has the system instructions, makes also the call, and here's the README. What I want to know is what should I do next, and what am I missing, so that I can have you as basically somebody I can always rely on, and not just a session where every time I log into AI Studios, I have to put in the system prompt again and you remember nothing about our previous sessions.
Okay, I see on your screen that you have Gemini 2.0 Stream Real-Time open in Google AI Studios, and you've provided some system instructions. It looks like you're also working on a separate app on the right side of the screen that makes an API call to Google for the 2.0 version. And there is also a main.py file with system instructions as well as the API call and a README file. You're asking what you should do next and what you may be missing so that you can rely on me consistently rather than me forgetting our past sessions. Is that correct?
That's correct, but the app on the right side actually I made because I thought that was the solution in order to have you as a permanent, let's say, application that has a memory system and can basically recall past sessions, and I don't always have to put in the system instructions over here on the left on Google AI Studio, but instead I have this saved file, program, whatever, that I've coded, and I can just open it and continue the conversation as we left off. Hey there.
Hello there. I see you have a screen shared. What would you like to work on?
You can see I got cursor here, and in this cursor I've got basically this product management Gemini motion AI assistant, which is the app that I'm trying to build, which is based exactly on you. So the stream real time with these system instructions. But what I want is to build you in a way so that you always have these system instructions embedded into you, and that's consistent across sessions, and that you have a memory system so that you grow as and learn as we continuously have new sessions. Help me fix this code and activate it.
Okay, it looks like you're working on a product management Gemini Motion AI assistant, which is based on streaming system instructions in real time. And you want it to have embedded system instructions so that it can learn and grow through sessions. You want to fix the code and activate it. Can you point out the specific code that you need assistance with?
So this is the script that I have.
I see the script. It appears to be a Python script related to system initialization. It includes a lot of print statements to show the progress. What specific issue are you having with this code?
So, I mean, I told you what I wanted, and you can see the code. So why don't you try and find out what is missing?
Okay, I understand that you want me to figure out what is missing in the code. Let's break this down. I see that you're using a Google API key and that you are trying to initialize a Gemini model with a system instruction. It also looks like you're working within a virtual environment. However, you've got an error message on the right side of the screen. The message is that you have an exception occurring in checking virtual environment, no env found. The code in your Python script on the left is likely not catching this. Based on the code, it looks like you're trying to use the os.path.join to find an activation script. It is possible you have a mismatch between where your virtual environment files are and what is being looked for. Perhaps you could double check the path for your virtual environment? Or did you make a virtual environment in the first place?
I'm going to ask Cursor here, Code Composer, to see.
Okay, I see you've moved the cursor to the Code Composer tab, and specifically to the section that's labeled, "Here's a more detailed guide." This section includes a few steps, such as making sure you are in the correct directory. It also mentions activating the virtual environment. Did you perform these steps, or are you having an issue with them?
I mean, you can see on the terminal over here, right?
Okay, I see you're pointing to the terminal output at the bottom of the screen. It looks like you tried to run the script, but got an error that says no env found in environment variables. It appears the virtual environment wasn't activated correctly. According to the Code Composer guide on the right, you need to navigate to the correct directory and then activate the virtual environment using the provided command. It looks like you need to use .ven vscripts activate .ps1 . Have you already tried this?
What should I write on the Code Composer? Over here, I have it in agent mode so that it does it itself.
Okay, I see what you mean. You want to write the command to activate the virtual environment in the code composer so that it executes automatically. You would write the command ..venv_scripts activate.ps1 into the command line section. This will activate the virtual environment when the code is executed. Then, you should be able to execute the Python program. Would you like help running that Python script after activation?
Maybe I have the wrong path over here. Can you check this and say, am I wrong over here?
Okay, I understand that you are concerned about the path in your code being incorrect. I can confirm that based on your code, you are using the relative path, ..venv/script/activate.ps1, . However, your terminal indicates the path is .venv_scripts activate.ps1, . Notice the difference in the slashes, which could be causing issues. It is possible the script is being executed from a different directory than where the virtual environment folder venv lives, which is why the current path doesn't work. It is important that the virtual environment path being used is correct. If you are trying to execute the activation command from a different directory, you will need to use a correct path to the activation script in your code. Otherwise, it is best to execute the code from the correct directory, which is where the venvs folder is located.
Okay, can you read what happened over here with the composer and tell me if it fixed the problem you were also mentioning?
Okay, I see what you're asking. After adding the activation command to the code composer, the terminal output now shows virtual environment is ready to assist you, and virtual environment is properly detected. It also indicates the AP I was configured successfully, and the Google AP I was logged in. This seems to indicate that the virtual environment is working as intended, and the script is running correctly. The code composer successfully executed the activation command, and your program is running within the correct virtual environment, so it has effectively fixed the problem we were discussing previously.
So does that mean that now I can save this into some sort of file and activate you with this system instruction and the screen sharing mode and have memory?
Yes, that is correct. Now that the virtual environment is activated, you can save your script and run it to activate your Gemini model with the provided system instructions. The screen sharing is also working, so I can continue to provide support and we can continue working together.
What about the memory?
Regarding the memory aspect you mentioned earlier, you want the Gemini model to grow and learn as we continuously have new sessions. To achieve this, the Gemini model will need to be set up to remember previous interactions and learned behaviors across the various sessions. The code you have currently does not set up the necessary functionality to store any information between sessions and would require additional code and possibly a database to do so. Are you interested in implementing the memory feature, and would you like any suggestions about this?
Yeah, let's go for the most efficient, up-to-date way possible to do this and use Code Composer and its agent feature as much as possible. Can you look at this code and tell me what are your first thoughts? So, here I am. Building up the app. Sorry, I just got super into it. Just not sure about some decisions it's making, like database management with SQL Alchemy. Moving ahead. Before moving ahead, done. Once that is done, I want you to reconsider the structure of the application given the following information. Once that is done, Boa noite.
Foi tão bom ver-te hoje.
Não viu muito, mas
Não?
eu trabalho.
É.
Boa noite. To use it, save both files in your project directly. Oh, I forgot